starting soon screen on, but they'll still be able to hear us. Yeah, beautiful. Got Richardson to have a little bit of a look at too.
Nice.
I think he's in a similar position to us.
All right, let's just fucking start. Let's blow our dicks out.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, I think I'm ready. I think I am ready. Get rid of that. Oh, actually, I'm going to update what this thing's called. Hey, good start. Probably should have done that beforehand. But...
Yeah, great start.
So last week I noticed that everyone was putting videos up saying the round ahead. So we're going to put up round 7 today, just to keep up with the demand, you know.
Yeah, good plan. Good plan.
Getting pretty professional on here.
Forward thinkers over here.
All right. Let's go. How are you, mate?
Ron, good mate.
Good.
Good
We're
to be
live,
back.
mate. We're
Another week in the
on.
books. Another win in Supercoach. So
Well done,
can't
mate.
complain.
Who'd you verse this week?
Some pleb, obviously.
Who was it?
It was Jane.
Tay. Oh, Jane. Was it Tay? Jane.
You versed Tay. I versed Jane.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
we're both winners.
both winners.
Probably a little bit luckier than what you were. Looking at the league, I won by 70. Yeah, Jack did well against the Brisbane Lions, CMEs.
Yeah, I got up pretty comfortably in the end.
Yeah,
150 odd points or something.
Oliver helped that one, and Stu was actually the best performer in the league, 277. I don't even know, looking at Stu's team, how he did it, but good on him.
Yeah.
We're a little bit early, so maybe we'll just go do a quick little recap of the footy. How'd you go on the tipping?
7 out of 9, but I fucked up and I forgot to put my tips in.
Oh, no.
And I realized halfway through Friday night's game, I was like, wait a minute, have I put my tips in for this week? And I logged on. I hadn't yet.
You got St Kilda though, right? If you've forgotten.
No, it doesn't give it to you. It doesn't give you anything.
No, it does.
I don't think it does.
It did for Source.
Did it? Okay, well, I lost. I didn't pick Adelaide to beat Western Bulldogs. Or maybe I did. I didn't pick Adelaide to beat Western Bulldogs, and I think I tipped Carlton to beat Dockers. So
Yeah,
maybe I
yeah,
did then. Yeah,
yeah,
so 8
yeah,
and
yeah,
9.
yeah, yeah. Nice. Yeah, I got 8, but the doggies one would have been a perfect round. But yeah, Crows playing not bad footy.
Yeah, how you picked Frio?
Yeah, I got the Freo one. I thought they might
Nice.
be a little bit too good. Just quickly, I know we're doing a recap of last round, but Freo $3.10 to beat Geelong this week. That could be the bet of the century.
What? Yeah, I know.
They are
That's
playing
a
some
very good
fucking
bet.
good footy. Hey, if you're watching, hold on. She won't be watching.
No. Finally have a half decent team.
Yeah, well, no, they're going real good, and they've got five
The
coming back.
ladder's, yeah. When is he back?
Uh, I think they're just bringing him back slowly. The way that things are going at the moment, I don't think there's any rush.
Yeah, not super
Um,
necessary.
nah,
Better to have
so
him back for the end of the season than
yeah, I reckon
fuck
somewhere
himself up
around the
again.
bye rounds, and I think he'll come in, and I don't even think he'll go into the midfield. I reckon he'll play like 25% midfield or something like that. Things are just going
Yep.
that well for him. They're yeah, what was Payne saying to Tay last week? I've heard the fact that they're the second in defence behind Melbourne. I think I heard that about 600 times
Oh yeah.
last week. That was one of the favourites. So yeah, but yeah, Saints are too good. Crows, like they're actually proving all right. They're playing a good brand of footy anyway. Like they're going to have to be like a bit like the Hawks, I think, where they have those games where they just get blown away. But they've been in pretty much every game they've been in this year. So
Yeah,
um,
it's surprising a little bit,
I
but
had
they
them for wooden spoon.
did you?
Yeah, I had
I don't
them
think I
more
could
than
go
North.
past North. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, surprising ladder if you look at it at the moment though. Well, a
yeah.
few teams that I picked to be like top 4, top 8 are right down the bottom. So
Well, that's right. Yeah, I think I had GWS in fifth. I think I had Port in fourth or something. I had
Essendon making the
Womerts.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
doggies are in 11th at the moment.
yeah, doggies are a bit of a surprise. Well, doggies have got an interesting few weeks. Like you look at their next 3 weeks, and they should be like must-win games.
Yeah, they got Bombers this week, I think. So
Now they got English out. Bruce obviously still not back. They're struggling a little, but
yeah, I didn't see that coming.
no. Is anyone actually watching, or we just
Yeah, I
the,
think there's a
the,
couple of people. Yeah,
the big D's in? Richard, how are you, mate? Yeah. Apart from that, Geelong did what they did. Lions pretty comfortable. Um, Melbourne would have won by 100 points if they had a kick straight.
that scoreline
Um,
was crazy. What was it like 9 goals, 22 or something?
yeah, that's like it was. Well, I mean, they were in it, and only because of that, like Melbourne were completely dominant.
See that guy's crazy multi that he put on had like $5 on it. Would have paid 60,000. He had the margin like spread picked for every game,
mm,
and then he had over unders picked for every game,
yeah,
multi all together. Every single game came off apart from he had overs on the Melbourne game.
no,
And it went unders because they kicked 9 goals 22.
no.
It would have won 60K off $5.
Fuck,
It's
that's pretty
crazy.
rough.
Yeah, you'd be spewing.
That's pretty rough. Yeah, that was the only thing that kept Richmond in it. They had like a good little burst again before half time, but apart from that, it was pretty one sided. And the best game of
Mm.
footy was probably the Essendon and Collingwood game.
Yeah, that was a fucking belter.
So, yeah, no, well, that game always stands up, I guess, or most of the time. And
Mm.
Port
Collingwood
Sydney was
kicked.
all right, but we just got fucked in the last quarter.
Yeah, Collingwood kicked 15 goals 3 in that game. Essendon 12 goals 10. So just the accuracy probably got them over the line in the end.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, it was a good game.
I've seen the memes about Ginnivan and Kane Corns. Give him the GoPro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so funny.
That's hilarious. All right, let's get stuck into this.
Right, let's do it. So obviously, big news of the weekend: Hayes ACL, Grundy PCL,
Yep.
both out for a long time.
Yeah, well, they're the major talking points, I guess, for our teams anyway. This week, I guess at the end, since we were on last week. Tim English has gone down as well. There's a few other injuries as well. Like I ended up putting Roses in last week. He's got a 1 2 week calf. I've heard some people say it's precautionary. He's going to be back this week. But who knows what'll happen there. Dusty might be back this week.
Yeah, he's back at training anyway. So
Yeah, it looks like he's not too far away anyway. Paddy McCartan, another concussion, poor bugger. We did talk about that at the start of the year. Um, he's up to 270. He's probably still got a little bit of money to make. I don't know if it's the best week to trade him on. As I was saying to you, like he's a really good loophole for me this week because he plays in the last game. So he might be better off in a couple of weeks' time if you can get a little bit more money out of him, but he's getting close. Dixon from Eagles, I think he's got a calf as well, another 1 to 2 weeks. That's pretty much the main super coach ones, apart from Sean Darcy, who had a concussion and won't play against Geelong as well. So, a few interesting decisions to make this week, mate.
yeah, definitely. So I know you're pretty gutted with the Grundy injury coming up today because you're looking to get rid of a few other players apart from him.
Yeah, well, we already used 3 trade boosts to try and catch up, I guess, because my team's so far behind. And so I was going to maybe go sideways on a Whitfield or something this week. And as I said to you earlier, I've just been playing catch up from the start. So I've had Taron Thomas, Aaron Hall, Cripps, one other, I can't remember his name. And now I've got Grundy and Hayes. So yeah, I mean, all my trades pretty much have been trading, by 2 or 3 have been trading out injured people, unfortunately. Trying to make the most of a bad situation. And I had a quick look at how I'm going on my catch generation compared to last year. I think I'm about 450,000 ahead of where I was last year, but I think that's more to do with the rookies and what they've scored.
Yeah, a bit different.
Yeah, it's just a bit better this year. So I think with the extra trades, the trade boosts, this year you're going to be able to be a bit more aggressive with your trades and you're not going to have to maybe put as much focus on the cash generation. So I'm sort of, with people like Roses and Bruce, that's obviously the goal. Bruce made 90,000 this week, so glad I threw him in. But yeah, this week will just be about trying to just get as much points as I can on the board and try and find a good replacement for Grundy. So
yeah, so you got any thoughts about which way you're leaning?
Yeah, well, I think there's a must-have this week, and I think his name is Sam Hayes.
Yep, from Port.
Port, that's right. So obviously with Lycett being out still from, I think he's out till about just after the buys, maybe another like 10 to 12 weeks or something. So this guy's job security should be really good. Scored another 94 this week. His break even's really low. It's like negative 90 something.
Yeah, they reckon
123.
12 weeks for the shoulder for Lycett. So
yeah, so you're not probably going to have this guy for 12 weeks, but the job security is going to be there regardless. Yeah. So unless he gets injured, he'll be rising in value. You might get 300,000 or 400,000, and trade him out around the buys or something like that. So he, for me, this week is a must-have. So he's probably a trade that I can sort of do straight away and sort of see how much sort of cash I get freed up from that. Because, as we said before, Grundy, he has been confirmed that he's got PCL and he's out for 10 to 12 weeks. So even though he played in the last quarter and took a mark, got a 50 and kicked a nice goal with a PCL injury. But
yeah.
Anyway, that's good. So, yeah, obviously Hayes as well. He's going to be one that I'll potentially look at moving on. He's obviously the one that jumps off the page from there. But I've got to have a look at who I want to trade in and just see if he will give me enough cash to do it. Because I've also got Rochelle potentially on the chopping block. His break even's up to 85 now. They do have an all right game this week against GWS, but it will be a little bit of time before his cash generation sort of comes back. And yeah, Whitfield, he's one that I would like to move on as well. So yeah, I think I can wait another week on Cherry. Dacos is maybe capped out on his price, but his scoring's good.
Yeah, it's D5 at the moment. 85 average is pretty good.
Pretty
Take
good,
it.
yeah. Well, he's averaging the same as Daniel, who was just over 500, and Whitfield, who was the same. He's averaging more than him, so happy to keep him at the moment for sure. I don't think he will go up too much more in value, but and O'Driscoll at 42, so coming off back-to-back tons, I guess you'd sort of expect him to have a quiet week at some point. I think he's got an all right matchup this week against Geelong. That'll be a little bit interesting. And yeah, so
Nice having Gibkiss on the bench as well, getting a ton this week.
100%. Yeah, I know a lot of people went with Hinge over Gibkiss at the start of the year, and I sort of the reason I went with Gibkiss was because Hinge is injury prone, and again he's done another injury now. He's been out for 2 weeks and potentially could be more. So Gibkiss is the a rookie where no one would have brought him in last week. He's only been scoring 30 or 40s. But yeah, nice to have him on the bench, and for him to get 100, his cash gen's going to go up heaps this next 2 weeks. And if you didn't have him already, you're not going to be able to get him. It's not someone that you can really bring in this week at 250,000.
No.
Even though he's got a break even of -2.
Yeah, he's meant to go up another 30k this week and 30k the week after that. So
yeah,
nice for us having him from the start.
100%. That's right. And yeah, I think you and I both had a Driscoll from the start as well.
Yeah.
So although my team has not been great in scoring, I have saved a lot of and I have got a lot of injuries. I have saved on those types of trades where other people have had to
bring him in.
Him in. So there is some good news. Still spewing that last minute, about a minute before the bounce, I swapped Nick Martin out for Baldwin. Nick Martin
did you?
88 and Baldwin averaged 3.
What? Oh, fucking.
I literally had Nick Martin right up until the final bounce. But anyway, it is what it is. So, yeah, I think this week if I look at bringing Hayes in, I think one of the must-haves this week, I know you've already got him, but Clayton Oliver.
Yep.
Break even of 73, projected to go back up 22k this week. With a projected score of 123, he's playing the Hawks. He could score anything this week as well, so that 22 could turn into a 40 pretty quickly if he gets going. I think his projected should be a lot higher than 123. So he's definitely one I'll be looking to bring in. I don't know if I've got enough cash just from that trade. I do. So he's one that I can probably tick off straight away. For me, it'll just be a matter of, I've got 200k in the bank. Can I upgrade it to another premium from a rookie? Or do I need to sort of go a little bit sideways to potentially get another rookie to get another premium in?
200k.
Yeah, so I mean the ideal one, I'll just complete that.
Rochelle would be the ideal one, obviously.
Rochelle is the ideal one.
Yeah.
But in saying that, with a break even of 85, he's maybe he gets 50 this week, something around there conservatively. He's only going to go around down 10, so he's not one that I feel I have to move on this week, but that would be ideal. But trading him out, it only gives me 487, and it's probably not enough to be getting it's definitely not enough to be getting a mid premium, but probably not a forward premium either at this point. So I may need to move on someone else before.
What if you bid on Rao?
Rao would give me enough to go to say a Cripps. If I wanted to.
Rao would give you enough to go to anyone.
Well, yes. I mean, just under 600, so I couldn't go a mil.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Just under 600, yeah.
Could go a Brayshaw. I think Cripps is the one, as we were talking about slightly earlier. His price is still 520. His break even is still 125, so I don't have to necessarily move on him this week, but yeah, I mean, I'm behind on points. I've got to do something to try and catch up. So,
Yeah, and his score of 140
hmm,
kind of makes you wish you had him.
100%. As I said before, he's like the 14th highest average or something, and that's including the game he went off at quarter
38
time.
points. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
his scores outside that are 132, 162, 119, and 139.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
um, yeah.
yeah, popping off. So yeah, Cripps was the other one I obviously traded in, and he got injured, and then I traded him back out, not knowing if there was such thing as a 1 week hamstring, but apparently there is.
Apparently there is.
So yeah, so I mean another error there. But this week I was happy because I did end up keeping Rowell in and traded Horn Francis out, and Rowell turned up again.
Yeah, that was
Um,
nice. Yep.
so that was a good call. So look, to be honest, I'm looking at doing Whitfield this week. I can move McCartan back. I can move Martin back into the forward line there, and then that will give me enough money to go with a Cripps. It gives me 120k in the bank for a potential trade next week, and I'm hoping that one of my or a couple of my rookies stand up. Maybe a Cherry, maybe a Gibkiss, maybe an Driscoll. They make enough cash this week that I can upgrade one of them next week to, as I was talking about before, short, and then obviously trade one of them down to a
Mm.
rookie. So that's what I'm sort of thinking at the moment. And I'll just quickly run through what I was thinking because my defensive line's going to be really short this week. Like I've only got the 3 premiums, if you can call Daniel a premium. Having Gibkiss playing on the Friday night and having McCartan playing last, and he's not going to be playing. McCartan's definitely not playing this week from concussion. It gives me a bit of a loophole there. So I can make Gibkiss my emergency. If he scores really well, I can keep McCartan on the field, and then I've also got a captain loophole as well. So yeah, that gives me a couple of options there, and maybe gets me by this week anyway. But
Yeah, it's definitely not a permanent fix, but it would get you Oliver and Cripps this week.
that's
And then
right.
as long as Dacos, O'Driscoll, and Gibcus can sort of carry over the line this week, then
Yeah,
you'd be able to double trade and downgrade one and buff up to a short or something next week.
yeah.
That's probably not a bad option, really, to be honest.
I think I think those 2 trades, and like as I said, so I think Sam Hayes is a must. If you don't have him, I definitely would be getting him. Even if you've got a say a Wits, Bruce, Grundy or something. Um, I think yeah, you can just go from a Grundy to a Hayes. You can play a Bruce and a Wits on the field or something along those lines. Even if you Grundy gone, I think you can move that, and if you've got Bruce, you can put him on the field. Might be a little bit risky having Hayes on the field this week, but just depending what your setup is, it might be the best option for you. So, yeah, that's pretty much my option. What's Big D Clary Crips upgrade is awesome. Yeah, that's the look playing with a couple of different options. I think that's my best possible thing to do this week to give me the highest possible score. As I said before, Short's on my radar. He's got quite a high break even still this round, so I don't have to necessarily move on him this week. If it was the other way around and he had a low break even and Cripps was still the same as he is now, I might move on him first. But I think this way gives me the best possible chance of getting the highest score this round anyway. Um, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I like it.
I think a lot of people are going to be in the same boat with the
Yeah.
Hayes and the Grundy this week. So if you didn't pick up Bruce last week, which I think you were in that boat,
Yeah, it
some
was,
people
but
might have been locked out of the rucks already. At least that Grundy does give you an option to get that Hayes in for that cash generation and potentially get Bruce on the field. So
100%.
this is your team.
Yeah, so this is just a possible trade that I've done already. Maybe reverted, might not be. So
Ooh,
I had,
ooh.
yeah, so I obviously had Grundy and Hayes as well. So
Yep.
they both had to go, essentially. I was always thinking of going Hayes to Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't get Bruce in last week. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't make it work. I think I was $400 short of being able to get Bruce in.
Yeah.
So I just had to suck that up. And then I probably spent a couple of hours today sort of or last night even before the Grundy news came out, tinkering around with different trades, whether I downgrade or get rid of Jackson, bring Bruce and Hayes in, or just some crazy stuff to try and I really wanted to get McRae in the midfield. That was a big one for me. And it ended up being $200 short of being able to do what I wanted to do. Classic $200 short this week and $400 short last week. So that's just how it goes. So what I ended up doing, and I'm just going to sort of see how it feels over the next couple of days, and I might change it or might play around a bit more and rethink it. So I went Hayes to Hayes. I went Grundy to Bruce. I had a pretty deep look in like break evens and projected scores and what that does to your break even over the next couple of rounds. Bruce is still set to look like if he scores as he's going, he's going to go up another 130k over the next like 4 weeks. So losing 80k sucks, but if I can still make money on him, like it's a win-win, right? Especially with Grundy out. I could have gone to like a Wits or someone like that from Gold Coast in there. But I really wanted to get McRae in the team. So what I ended up doing was Hayes to Hayes, Grundy to Bruce, and then I traded Rochelle. I had Rochelle on the bench. Wasn't using him. It was just free cash sitting there. And then brought McRae in. And that left me with 60k in the bank. I was tinkering around whether I wanted to get rid of Rochelle or Horn Francis because I've still got Horn Francis. I went with Rochelle because Horn Francis, even though his break even's 83 this week, he's only set to drop like 5k if he gets his projected score.
He's sort of similar to Rochelle, where he doesn't like necessarily have to go this week, but he's getting to that price point where he's just not going to gain any more value. So if don't hold on to him for the sake of gaining cash from him because it's going to be a very slow burn.
It'll be a slow burn. Like you can still get a little bit, right? So what happens is if he gets his rough projected of 60, 70 this week, he'll drop 5k. But more importantly, his break even will go down from 83 to 47. And then you'll have 2 weeks at 47 for his break even, which he should be able to get another maybe 20k back for 2 weeks at a break even of 47. And if like the way I had him as a bench player at the moment, get another 10, 20k out of him. Maybe I'll trade him next week or the week after and use him that way. So that's what I've done at the moment.
It'd be interesting to see what happens with Bruce because I mean he's only like with that 90k increase, he's only one bad game away from really stalling that cash generation for you. And if you're bringing him in to like actually score, and I think that's but if you bring him in just for the cash generation, you might have missed the boat. You know what I mean? Like,
his break even's still minus 50.
It is. But
so
I mean, you wouldn't bring in a rookie,
horrible.
like you wouldn't bring in a.
I'm not bringing him in to be like the new Grundy. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, the only other option was I just did a straight trade of like Grundy to like Wits or someone like that. And there's still I still may be able to play around with that a little bit and see how I go. But for now, this is what I've done just to see
I like
how it sits.
The other thing
does make my midfield look pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that's it. And McRae, like with the 2 back-to-back 150s, like he does have a high break even now, but even with that high break even, he's only scheduled to go down 6k. He's got 140 projected. He has got a nice matchup this week, though. You would think.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, he's just not really dropping, right? He was this price at the start of the season.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he's not going down. I don't see him going down much.
You'd have to be relying on him versus the Bombers, who I think have leaked points. And you'd have to rely on him sort of getting another 90 to make it worth your while. I think if you were going to wait. So I don't think there's any point in trying to wait for McRae, as you said.
No,
I pulled the trigger on him last week, and classic bring him in after back-to-back 150s and gets a 90, but that's just the game we play.
My other thinking was I was originally thinking of getting rid of Jackson as well, right? So I do have like 3 other forward rucks in my team. I've got Huge Dick, I've got
Mm.
on the bench, I've got Jackson, and I've got Sherry up the front as well. So
Mm.
Jackson, two low scores in a row. It'll be interesting to see how he goes over the next week or so. Whether this is his price ceiling or not, especially with the break even he's got at the moment. So if I could make some quick cash on Bruce over the next couple of weeks, I could do a double trade with those.
Yeah.
Upgrade to a Gorn. Maybe
Yeah.
bring.
I think Gorn, I think, still got to be the pinnacle to get in the
Oh
team
yeah, he definitely
now.
has to be. Yeah.
He's got the Hawks this week, and after Laddams went 160 or something against Lynch, it wouldn't surprise me if Gorn gets double ton this week.
Yeah. That'd be
And that's
fucked.
why I didn't want to trade Jackson out this week as well. Although he's got a break even of 120, I think it is.
Yeah, he's set to drop 20k this week.
Yeah. What's his? That's the thing with Jackson. Like he has gone big a couple of times. So he's got 137 and 126, and I think against the Hawks, with obviously with our first two ruckmen going down, Lynch got very tired towards the end of that game last week, and I think between the two of them, Jackson and Gorn, they'll have an absolute field day. Hit outs to advantage.
Yep.
Everything. It could be a big score, so I definitely think it's worth holding on. And break even to 136, he might get that. So
Yeah, he could. Yeah.
he could.
So that was my thinking, holding on to him for another week or so. If I do stick with this, then I could double dip, take him and Hayes or him and Bruce out, and then bring the big Gorn in for him. So that's an option.
Yeah, I definitely like those trades. The only other thing I'd have a look at is potentially bringing Hayes in, and then maybe looking at the Gorn option, just to see what it looks like instead of the Bruce, and then just seeing what else you can do with, because you do save 30k going from, you know, what McRae to Gorn. Can you do anything else
Yeah.
with that money? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much money have you got in the bank after those trades.
60.
Yeah, right. So you have 90 there. Could you do anything? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely an option. I'd have a look at it anyway. Yeah, I really hope Roses is playing this week. Yeah, Erasmus is a bit tricky for yourself. Looked like
Yeah,
he was
very
going to
tricky.
be. Looks like he was going to be a fixture and was looking really good, and they've just decided to go a different path for now. But he has been killing it in the seconds as well, I believe. So he's knocking on the door, and then you've obviously got those two from Gold Coast, which aren't making any cash again. So hopefully they start playing for you soon. But I don't know what's going on with that guy from your independent mid, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things, right? It's like I could burn a couple trades, bring some rookies in that might make me some cash. But at the same time, I'm trying to pump out the highest scores I physically can in Supercoach at the moment, right? Like as you said earlier today, like we're not just playing for the league, we're playing for overall standing. So as nice as that is, you're just dropping another week of potentially having like a Gorn or McRae in your team for bringing in a rookie that might make you 50k or something,
yeah.
especially defenders at the moment.
You do need to, I think you do need to address them. Like we're still only around 6 in.
It has
But
to happen.
it's not the round to do it because obviously you've got
Yeah.
Grundy and Hayes that you have to trade probably. So, yeah. Anyway, probably something that's on the to-do list, and you get to your buy rounds and you need to bring an extra player in or a rookie to cover.
Yeah,
that could be the way to
100%.
do it.
Cool.
No, I like it. Maybe we'll have a look at just a couple of other potential trades for this week. There's a couple of interesting ones. So if you look at some high scores from this round, Mills went absolute bananas, 214. He's got a super low break even of 36, but he's still priced really high. So he's scheduled to go up almost 50k this week. I think at some point he'll drop back down to this. So I don't know if there's any point in doing it. The only reason you'd have him in is if you want him at the end of the year. If you think he's going to be a top 8 midfielder, pretty much. That's the only reason you bring him in. You wouldn't bring him in even with this for some cash generation. Doesn't make any sense. So, if you ask me if would you rather Mills or Oliver at 618,000 or Mills at 632, I'd go
Oliver all day.
Over the week. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Laddams is a bit of an interesting one. It's got a lot like negative 13 break even. He's a ruck forward, so I think some people could look at replacing Grundy with him. Not for me, but I don't know how he's gone sort of overall in his past few years, but I don't think it's been that great. He's averaging 114 at the moment, but yeah, no, I mean, he's not going too bad, but he's only played 3 games, so still an option for people, I guess. Boston was one that I did sort of have a look at because I could go from Rochelle to Boston. I would have enough. But looking at his previous years, he's never averaged over 100. And he's only played the 2 games this year, so he might be a little bit of a, what's the word? It might just be once off to get that sort of score. But I mean, I did like his sort of next 3 games. He's got West Coast, Collingwood, Hawthorn, so 3 pretty good matchups. And that's why I think I'll be trying to get Short in next week because he's got those same matchups, obviously. So, another interesting one was Rosie. If you're looking for a point of difference, he's only in 1% of teams. 400,000 forward, they said they're going to play him in the mid more. He's obviously gone in the mid and absolutely killed it. Butters, by the way, last week I think he had some gastro. So he looked like an absolute shell of himself, and I don't even think they should have played him, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they did because he still scored better than my other rookies anyway. But I don't know how his scoring will go once Butters comes back. But if they do give him the midfield that he got on Saturday, he's a bit of an out-of-the-box pick as well. So there are definitely a couple of other ones. If you don't have Cripps, definitely look to try and get him in. Oliver's a really good one this week. As I said, I'm going to try and get both of them in. Also, do you remember this quote from you, Sam, at the start of the year? I think the quote was, "I told you so." And this is when I had Bailey in over Butters. Well, Bailey's as inconsistent as they come, but he's averaging 95 now. He's got a low break even. He's actually an option.
Well, obviously kicked a bag on the weekend, right?
Yeah, he's not going to do that. That's the problem with him. He goes 130, 140, and then goes 50.
Yeah.
And it's something similar to what we've seen from Heaney in the past, to be honest. Very similar, but obviously now Heaney's putting him together a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I think Butters has been a bit interesting, right? Like, obviously, had Gastro this week. There was those couple weird. Obviously, there was the week against Melbourne where they got fucking tonked, so you can't expect a heap out of that.
Yeah.
And then the Adelaide game where they played him a little bit weird positionally. And he didn't get much of the ball.
Yeah.
But outside that, he's been 114,
100%.
136, and 130. So it's a bit of bad luck with those ones.
I think so. Yeah, it's more just giving you a bit of shit.
It's
but
funny.
I think.
I don't think I'd be. What's Bailey's price point?
470 now. I think they were almost identical though when Bailey's gone up in price, for example, whereas Butters has gone down. But I'd still be picking Butters for sure. I think the norm is going to be Butters to get a ton. Anyway, Brayshaw's another good option this week. Key's still only in 3% of teams. He's pumping the games out. He's got the 7th best average in the comp. Tom Green's still going well. I don't know if he's going to be a top 8 midfielder at the end of the year this year, but certainly one to have a look at next year. And if you've already got him, as you said, you picked him up for 400, you've already got your money's worth and more. Yeah,
I've made 120 odd K on him already, so that was just a free win, really.
Yeah, 100%. So to get him when you did was as good as it's going to get. And yeah, English, as I said, I think it's 2 to 3 weeks for him. So yeah, pretty unlucky if you were one of those guys that was running Team English and Grundy, which there were definitely a few out there. So
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
it'd be pretty rough. Waste a couple of trades there. Um,
Not too bad though if you had Bruce Moose on the bench.
hmm,
You could just do a lateral trade to Gorn essentially, and then you'd have 400k in the bank or something, and
yeah.
you'd be laughing really.
As I was saying to you before, like there were plenty of people that had Gorn Grundy and Bruce combination, and they'd locked themselves out of getting a Sam Hayes, who's obviously got the lowest break even this week, and the Grundy actually sort of frees that up in a way. So if you did have Grundy and Gorn, you could go to Gorn, bring Bruce onto the field, and then have Hayes on the bench, and you've now got the cash generation. Bruce will, even with the dual ruckman proved he can score well. So yeah, that's a different option as well. Couple of options this week. Dempsey is a little bit of an out of the box one for Geelong. He's only played the one round.
Yeah,
I don't know what
don't know
his
how much game time he's really going to get. Like
job
certainty in the team.
security.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much of a lock.
It's not one I'd bring in this week. If you're gonna look at him, potentially wait for next week. That's when you could maybe look at picking him up. There is one called Greg Clark, and apparently I don't know too much about him, but apparently he turns up all the time in the waffle, I think it is. And he was supposed to play round one before he got a little injury. Yo's out with concussion this week, so I'd expect him to come in. He's an out of the box one if you are looking to try and get that little bit of extra money this week to do something. He could be one that you bring in straight away, but that job security's still a little bit of a 50-50. He does have a bad game this week. He might go back to the bench. So yeah, just a couple of little options there. Otherwise, there's not really too much. As I said, Sam Hayes I think is a must-have, and Ben Hobbs was looking like he could be a must-have, but he only sort of scored 34 this week, and break even of -10, expensive enough at 150, might be a miss.
Yeah, there's like that Finn Callahan guy for Callahan for GWS, but he's like 200k. His break even's -9. But yeah, it's kind of slim pickings with the fresh, cheap rookies at the moment, especially as far as defenders go.
That was sort of my thought process with last week. I sort of knew that I wanted to get both Bruce and Hayes because they were definitely that must-have range. But yeah, there's not much coming up, so I'd be looking at doing some aggressive trades this week to get them in, so you can get your cash generation, and then maybe moving forward, the weeks will be a little bit more simple for you. And if we finally get a week we don't have to deal with an injury, we might be able to do something we want for once.
Yeah, I know. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, what do you do though? It's part of the game, isn't it? It's
part of the game
all the time. And
yeah.
Interesting to see some of these trades. Obviously, Jack Hayes and Rochelle are the top two. McCullum was a big trade out last week, and I think that would have just been to try and get in. Who was I saying last week? To try and get Dacos back to defence.
Yeah.
But he's still got money to make if you got him.
Do you have Huge Dick in your team?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, so do I. I was just looking at the most traded out. He's like one of the most traded out players in my team, actually.
I think that's because people would be going from him to Hayes if
true.
they don't have another option. They might
have
so he's a ruck gone, and he's on the bench, and that's all they've got.
Yeah, see, I just have him as like a forward sub at the moment, I think. So I could get Hayes on the bench. Yes. Who else is there? That's pretty much it.
Is there anyone watching that either wants to send the team in or has a question at all? Otherwise, we're just going to keep rambling on forever. So if you do want to send something in, we're going to have a look at Richard's team, of course.
Oh, yeah. Bring that bad boy out.
So yeah, if anyone else wants to send them in, just type !Discord and that'll send you the thing. You can pop your screenshots in there if you want us to have a look at your team. Otherwise, you can start the question on here. Yeah, so Richard's obviously scoring a little higher than the both of us at the moment. I think he's about 4 million points ahead of me. And I think, I think he's 400 to 500 ahead of you, so he's definitely got the jump on us. Looks like fairly good cash generation. You got very similar bench to what I've got at the moment. Yeah, send it in, Jay, if you want. Send it on Facebook if you want. Send a couple of screenshots. Yeah, I mean, look at the back line. Can't go too wrong there. Gone with the Bailey Smith option last week as well by the looks. So he's obviously gone. He's in the same boat. You can still hear me, Kane?
Yeah, sorry.
That's right. He's in the same boat. Obviously, he's got Grundy and Hayes, so he's going to have to deal with that. I'd definitely be looking at bringing in Sam Hayes as well. Interesting what you do going to Grundy though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could look at as like we had a brief discussion about it. 12.5 million. Yeah, there you go. So I think I'm just over 12. So yeah, a few of those rookies from the start of the year that I picked up that have gone down. You've obviously got the ones that have gone up. So and obviously we're having Will Brody from the start's just the definition of a cash cow. What was he? 200 at the start. So yeah, with the backline the way it is and your mids, I mean, yeah, I mean you could look at obviously an Oliver this week. You could look at I know you have traded Gorn out to bring in Bruce, but it could be the time to go back from Grundy to a Gorn because as I said, I think Gorn could go absolutely ham this week.
Yeah, I mean, he could literally just do huge dick to Hayes, Grundy to Gorn.
Yeah,
You'd have the money there to do that. So
yeah, definitely. The other one that could potentially look at is Berry. Look, don't actually.
he's got Hayes on. He's got Hayes on the field too. So yeah.
So Berry's break even. What do we got here? So he's 62. So he's likely to get that. So you don't have to move on him this week, but he's likely to just hang around that sort of price point. Maybe get a little bit more. He's at that nice juicy price where you can downgrade one and upgrade another. So he could be a good one for next week. Don't know what other rookie you'd bring in this week though. What have we got? Because you've already got Roses. Yeah. I don't know what else you'd sort of upgrade this week. I mean, I guess you got the luxury of just doing the two trades potentially. Because he doesn't have a Jackson, he would either have to play Hayes on the field, or he would have to trade to Gorn. Like I don't know how you go to Oliver with. Yeah, I don't know how you go to Oliver, mate, without doing
Hayes on the field essentially.
Yeah. And I don't know if you want to be doing that. But then again, the mids are scoring higher than the rucks this year, so would you rather have a? Yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky one actually.
Saying I might be able to upgrade a Degoe forward this week. Could be a 4 number 6.
Yeah, yep. Don't mind that one at all. Yeah, I wouldn't bring him in. Like I did think long and hard about him at the start of the year.
Not feeling it this year.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what's he averaging? 95. Like, I guess if you were going from a Berry, to a Degoe or something, I guess it is an upgrade. But you'd be, using a trade boost to do that. Do you have the money to go from straight from Hayes and Grundy to Gorn and Dixon? Yeah, look, it looks like you do have enough. But yeah, just obviously with the I mean that locks your ruck out as well though. Keep that in mind. But I don't really know who else you go to. But yeah, I mean, if you were prepared to put Hayes on the field and have a Hayes Bruce combination and bring in an Oliver, my personal thoughts were I'd be going Oliver this week over Petrarca because I think Petrarca's break even's still pretty high this week. So even though he's 500 and so even though he's 550, he's still got 120 break even. So he could definitely get that, but he's not necessarily going to go up too much higher next round. You know, fuck, it's so cheap for Petrarca, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. So cheap.
If I didn't have to deal with my bad decision of trading Cripps out, I would definitely be looking at Petrarca this week instead of
I was pretty close, to be honest. I was pretty close, but then I figured out I had the cash to get McRae, so I was like, "Oh, I might just burn it and get McRae." But 555 for Petrarca is very good, but his break even's still 120. So
yeah, it's just like, so here's the thing with Petrarca, right? The game on Sunday night against Richmond, he just did what he needed to, and although he's in the first couple of games he's had the ability to just go and get 40 touches, he was quiet first 1 and 2. I think he had 9 touches to half time. He then got 11 in the third quarter when they needed him, and then he just didn't even bother in the last. And that's the problem with Petrarca and coming up against teams where they're probably going to be able to get the job done. Does he sort of go along that line of scoring again just because he doesn't need to do anything? He probably has his highest score against the harder competition in Saints.
Yeah, he'll kick 2 goals and get 40 disposals.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it scores 150 and you're happy. But yeah, so, don't know. But I mean, then again, they're playing Hawks this week and he could score 400 to 500. So.
All right, Brian Lara.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be, if you've got the cash, be looking at Oliver over Petrarca this week. But I don't know if you'd want to be fielding Hayes on the field. My team, I do have Jackson in the ruck, but I do actually have the option of putting him into the forward line. So then I can have Dixon on the bench, and it sort of helps my scoring a little bit. So I think I'd rather have like Hayes on the field, for example, rather than a Roses or a McDonald or a Rochelle. So I've sort of got that choice, but
yeah, that's kind of what I was leaning towards as well. But then obviously it's tough. Like you look at you're playing Bruce and Hayes as your 2 rucks.
Yeah.
Then
but if you look at that at the start of the year, you'd be like, this guy be coming last. Which I'm not too far off.
Yeah, look, I mean, if they scored 117 and 94 again, like you'd be pretty happy, right?
100%. Especially because I've used that money to get Cripps and Oliver, so you sort of just hope that he gets by this week. But yeah, as I said, you rather take the risk on Hayes. And as I was saying to you before, it's really unfortunate this week that West Coast are playing on the Friday night because you'd be able to have Hayes. If they played earlier, you'd be able to have Hayes on your bench and loophole him for the 2 Eagles that are probably not going to be playing again this round, and you sort of got a double bite of the cherry each time. So yeah, a little bit unlucky, but you got to do what, got to play with the cards you dealt. So
what do you reckon you'd be looking at? You'd be doing the sort of similar thing, getting rid of Jackson at some point and either Hayes or
Bruce or something's
upgrade to Gawn.
Happy with Jackson's matchups over the next few weeks. I guess he's not like, as I said, I want to try and avoid going from players like around that sort of 4 to 500 across. That might be like more of a luxury trade at the end. I think Cherry will be on my radar next week. Rochelle will definitely be on the radar next week. Even an O'Driscoll or a Gibcus could be on the radar next week. Gibcus maybe more in 2. And as I said, if I needed that extra cash to go from like a day cost to a short or something, I could. But I think next week it would be maybe a case of going a Cherry and a O'Driscoll or something like that. or maybe even a Rochelle, Driscoll, and trying to get in a short and something else. So that's sort of
And just put go on the back burner for another couple of weeks.
yeah. Hey George, how are you, mate?
Jill's back.
You can I'll post this video up on YouTube or whatever, mate. So you'll be able to catch up tomorrow. But if you want to send your team in, George, look it over now. We'll have a quick look. But you're doing better than us anyway, so I don't know why you want our advice, but. Uh,
Yeah, I'll be keen to see what he scored this week. It was a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, I guess Fuck, the difference was a lot of people were able to do that loophole on Hayes, and yeah, as I said to you, if I had known, it's just the season I'm having. If I had known on Friday night that Roses wasn't playing, I probably still would have traded him in, and I could have used him as a loophole, and I wouldn't have had to take Hayes' score. But because you find out on 5 minutes before the game, you can't do it. So
yeah, that's it.
it's just sort of one of those years, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm too far away from the mark. But I'd say to people who are looking to do trades, have in mind what you want to do next week as well. Don't and even the week after. Don't leave yourself with 3,000 if you want to do a double upgrade the week after, because you're not going to be able to do it. So
yeah,
yeah, definitely keep in mind what you want to do anyway. And as we know, it probably won't happen because injuries happen, and you're going to have to deal with something else like a Grundy and a Hayes. But you're better off. What is it? You fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Fuck, you're a smart guy.
Yeah. You don't want to send it in, Jaws?
I think he's busy.
Righto.
If you're still there, Jaws, what'd you score this week at least?
I think he said I'm doing shit now, as in on Supercoach.
Ah.
No, he's doing shit.
He's sending it now.
Oh, yeah, cool.
2038 he got, so smoked him.
It'll be interesting to see what happened there, Jaws. Because obviously would have had Hayes on the field then. I only scored 2,094, so
Rookie
did you see
numbers.
rookie number. Did you see the guy who see the guy who's in the lead? He's fucking flying.
I don't know what his team looks like. I saw the guy
total
that won this week.
14.5.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I can't even remember.
How do you see this?
I can't even remember how to get there. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here it is. So his team value is at 12,700,000. So just to put that in perspective, the person who's in second is obviously just going for points early. They're only at 12 mil. So he's
fucking
cash
Richard,
generation's perfect.
right up there.
Yeah, Richard's right up there. So he's got Sinclair, Chris, Hewitt, Sicily, Blakey's an interesting one.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
He's still got Bowie. Probably a good hold there. He's got Gibcus on the bench as well.
Koning,
Steele, Neal, Oliver, Brayshaw,
Green.
I don't know how he's got all of those mids in.
Bailey Smith as well. And McRae.
And McRae. And he had Hayes, but he had him on the bench, so didn't get his points obviously this round. So he's got 24.88 this round. So yeah.
And he's got Will Brodie, Caniglio, Heaney, Dunkley. He's got Witts and Bruce as his rucks.
Yeah, so he's obviously one by the looks who's got. He had Hayes. He doesn't have Dixon though. Interesting. So Hayes might be his other ruck spot, so he might just be able to go straight from Hayes to Hayes this week anyway.
Yeah. I don't know how he has fucking some of those players money wise. Crazy.
Can't see it. Jaws. I don't know if you. Oh no, here we go.
Yep, there it is.
You see that? All right. So we got it's a little bit small. It's all right. Chris Stewart. And geez, pretty rough. Only scoring 2020, 2040. He had McCartan go off. He had Hayes. Oh, you didn't even take Hayes to score. Oh, so he was able to loophole because McDonald played after Roses, but he didn't know that Roses was not going to play. bit of an interesting one. Jackson, Grundy. So you had the loophole, Rochelle onto the field for long.
Mm. And then the Driscoll McCartan low scores didn't help.
Yeah, just unlucky on the midfielders there, mate. Like you got Miller 99, Neil 108, Bonts playing like mainly forward at the moment because they haven't got anyone to kick to, 88, and Josh Kelly 99. Defense looks good. So I was thinking Bont, Grundy, and Hayes for Doc, Cripps, and Bruce. I personally, I know it's tricky. I think Hayes is a better option than Bruce, going to Sam Hayes. And that'll give you an extra, 170k to work with as well. And then you could potentially, rather than trading a Bont out, you could maybe use that to go from a Horn Francis or something up to a premium. You still don't have Cripps as well, so that extra 170 could really help you get from a Horn Francis to a Cripps. You bought in Hobbs as well, okay. Yeah, Cripps, yeah. Doc, Cripps, and Bruce, yeah. So I'm just not sure about going sideways on Bont. Like I know he hasn't been going well, but he does have a good few games coming up. He could start popping off. But 2 weeks ago he was sort of a must-have, and I don't think I'll be moving on him. He's still averaging 107. I think you've got bigger problems. Yeah, I think I'd be more likely to go from a. I mean, you could try and get Gorn or something. I mean, you don't have Oliver as well, so Oliver's a big. I mean, you could do something similar to me, mate. You're in the sort of very similar spot to with what I'm doing. You've got the same amount of cash, so I'm going Grundy, Hayes, and Whitfield, and I'm getting Cripps, Oliver, and Sam Hayes. Just means you wouldn't be able to get Bruce. So
you have to play Jackson and Hayes in the ruck essentially.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a little bit tricky. I guess Bruce does give you the option. I mean, if you can get a Bruce, Oliver, and thing, you're sorted. But I don't think you'd be able to do that.
He could.
But yeah, I mean, if
he could go Grundy, Hayes to Hayes, Bruce, and then trade out like a Rochelle, and he'd have enough money to pick up Oliver.
Yeah, that might be the play, mate.
That's essentially exactly the trade that I did, but I brought in McRae.
Yeah.
So and he's got more money than I do right now. Before I did that, so he'd be able to do that easily. He could bring in fucking McRae if he wanted to.
Yeah, but again, he'd be playing. Would he be playing Jackson, Bruce in the ruck, and he'd have Hayes on the bench.
Well, he could play Hayes, Bruce, ruck, Jackson, forward line, like we're thinking of doing.
Grundy, Hayes, and Horn Francis, but Bruce, Hayes, and Oliver. I thought, look, I like it. You're going way up in cash generation. I mean, can you? That's the only thing is like you really, if you're going down to a Hayes, you can try and get 2 premium upgrades. Whereas like if you're getting Bruce in, you're really like stalling for a week. It's just whether or not you're happy to wait that extra week and count Bruce as a premium. So I guess that's the decision that you got to make. I guess it sounds like you've made up your mind that you think Bruce is going to be premium enough to keep for at least 3 or 4 weeks.
It's just whether you'd rather have Jackson and Hayes as your ruck, or you'd rather have Bruce, Hayes as your ruck. Yeah. I don't think he's got enough. Oh, does he have? He doesn't have Cripps though, does he?
No.
Yeah. I had Cripps.
So that's the thing. I think like for him, he can potentially, like, you're in the same boat as me, mate, where you got to field Hayes for 1, potentially 2 weeks, but the cover you get from bringing in both an Oliver and a Cripps, I think makes up for it. So that's so just so you can see mine. Where are we? My team.
Mm.
So
So
yeah,
yes,
so you can see my changes
524.
here, mate. So I've got still got 120k in the bank after this. I think I had similar last week, but I've gone Whitfield to Cripps, Grundy to Oliver, and then Hayes to Hayes. So that sort of gives me a double upgrade in my eyes. I've still got money in the bank to do something next week. So I think you can do something really similar like this, and
I think he might be just short. So I think he has 524k saying if he goes Grundy and Hayes for Hayes and Bruce.
oh, what do we need
Um,
for?
and then Horn Francis is like 330 or something. So it would out of 900. So he wouldn't have enough to go Cripps and Oliver.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'll have a little bit of a play. Like as I said before, I had the luxury of doing. Well, I mean, I had to do Whitfield. It would have been perfect for me if I had been able to do Rochelle, but I was about 30 or 24k short or something. So yeah, but I mean, if I went Whitfield, I could have easily done Dacos instead of Whitfield, but I'm just sick of Whitfield, so he can go. But yeah, I mean, could have easily done a day cost this week, and I wouldn't really hesitate to do that if it meant that I picked up who I did. And yeah, I mean, Driscoll, if he was 1 or 2 weeks more down the line, he could have been an option. So yeah, yeah, a little bit to think about. Maybe maybe we can have a look at just doing like a quick little emergency meeting on Friday before the game or something. Or
Top of the
something.
table clash in our league this week, mate. Me versus Richard.
Oh,
That's gonna be fucking tight.
what are the projecteds?
It is. I'm projected 2372, and Richard's projected 2355. So,
Ooh.
oh, it's gonna be
But that'd be
close.
before Richard's trades, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be close. It'll be interesting to see how many players you guys have different now.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be many.
Hmm.
Let me have a look. So it's 9 at the moment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And
I'll be
then
interesting to see
if
which
Richard
way you
says he
go,
brings
Richard.
in, who did Richard say he was going to bring in?
Oh, he's looking at either Gorn or Oliver, I think.
Yeah, so that would make it even less. That would make it 8 or 7 players different.
Yeah.
Be a little 7v7 for the fucking top of the table.
You don't have Gorn, do you?
No, I don't, but I got
No.
Oliver, so
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
But I could get gone. I could change my trade.
Well,
Yeah,
I think what we've learnt this year is most likely everything that we've just discussed will be irrelevant by Friday afternoon.
yeah. Son Cray will probably break his leg.
Yeah.
And Cripps will probably fucking do his actual hammy this week. So
Fuck. If I bring
yeah,
Cripps in this week, he gets in this week, I'm done. That'll be the last fucking time. I don't care what he
yeah.
averages. He could average 500
I'm never playing him again.
after holding him for holding for about 15 rounds last year,
Yeah, I know, just
averaging
killing the budget.
70.
Yeah.
Oh, too good. All right, let's do a quick little, just 5 minutes. I've already done my tips this week.
I think it's a pretty straightforward round.
Yeah, I think so. So West Coast and Richmond over there. Look, I don't really want to tip Richmond, but I just don't think West Coast can win anything at the moment.
No, they're fucking horrible.
So
Yep. I
let me
think
just, let me bring up the odds on the other screen so I can see you. So Richmond $1.50, West Coast 2.45. So closer than I probably thought, I guess. But Richmond haven't been playing. I mean, they just lost to the Crows, so don't know.
yeah, I think Richmond, but yeah, who knows?
So Freeman are $3, which I think is way over the odds, even with Sean Darcy out. They get back a couple of players.
What's the margin line on that? I'd love to see it.
The line,
Yeah, the line betting. Yeah.
line's 18 points. Freo with an 18-point lead at
What?
$1.90. That seems pretty good.
Is that what it is? Holy
Mm.
fuck.
I guess I guess Sean Darcy's pretty important, but
$1.90 for 8 plus 18. I'd take that any day of the week.
Good bet.
Oh yeah, I bet I pick free on that one. Going off what they've done recently.
Yeah, I think so.
Phew.
Crows and GWS, an interesting one in Adelaide.
In Adelaide, yeah. Well, that makes it a bit more interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, Crows actually $1.65 favourites. So
Yeah, right. Well, they just beat the Dogs,
mm,
so running off that form, you think they could touch up the Giants, but you never know with Adelaide, right? They could just be dog shit again this week, and
yeah, that's right.
Giants could actually play to their potential,
Well, I think
and
at some point
it's a blowout.
GWS will like, and some people obviously tipped GWS last week against
Saints.
Saints. They're going to at some point jump out and beat someone, but yeah, I mean, they're just not really going at the moment. Melbourne 100 plus over Hawks most likely. Should
Saints over
be
Port.
$1.03, not $1.14. There's probably a bit of value there actually.
Oh fuck it, 14 cents on the dollar.
Saints Port though. Saints are $1.55. I reckon that's pretty. I reckon that's pretty decent.
Yeah, I like that too. What's the line on that?
10 points.
10 points.
Hmm. Saints can win by more than 10.
Definitely. I'm
Yeah, I
taking
think so too.
$2 at 9.5. Fuck yeah. Yeah, okay.
Carlton $1.20 over North. Probably about
Yeah, I think
right.
they'll win by 745 points.
Well, yeah, I mean, Carlton weren't very impressive last week, but I think Freo are better than what they are getting credit for at the moment, even though everyone's on them, dick riding pretty hard at the moment. So,
Yeah.
um, what else we got? Collingwood, Gold Coast. Depends what Gold Coast show up, depending what Collingwood show up, but at MCG, I guess.
Pies.
Go the Pies. Yeah, Dogs should get the job done against the Bombers, but
Yeah.
they haven't been impressive. English out, Bruce out still. Yeah, I mean they're
I
just not
think
going that well. 2-4 is the last year's grand final.
mm,
Not going well. And then best till last, probably.
yeah, it'd be a great game.
So Sydney and Brisbane. I think Sydney are just favourites in that one, but yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. Lions seem to be going well, but then they had a little hiccup against Geelong, which I
Yeah.
thought they'd get done pretty comfortably. Yeah,
Oh
might have
look,
to look into that one.
you think they'd get Sydney, but
Hmm.
you never know. Actually, I just realised, sidetrack, Richard and I both have McRae and Neil. We just have different captain and vice captain. So
Oh
it's
shit!
actually it's actually a 7v7 at the moment. And
There you go.
if he brings in Oliver, it'll be a 6v6 for the top of the table.
There you go. Well, that's what
uh,
happens, I guess, as you go. People
yeah,
end up with more and more teams, but things
yeah,
are the same. So,
classic.
um, just trying to craft a little nose beers and sports multi here.
Yep.
Frio at the line, $1.90. Saints at the line, $1.90. Tempted to just put Carlton in for the win rather than the line because the line's 26 points, but $1.20, I think they get it
Yeah,
done, right?
yeah, yeah. I like the $1.20.
Do we put in the lines?
Oh, they're my team, right? But yeah, I don't have faith. Where is it? Is it in Sydney?
It's in Sydney, yeah. I think if it
Yeah,
was in at the Gabba, I think lines would be about $1.50. So the
yeah, they
fact
probably
that
would.
it's like neck and neck.
Look, you think that in the way they've been playing, like they should beat Sydney, right? Like they're on paper they're a better team. They are prone to have little hiccups, so that's the only doubt that I have.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, I think they just had that matchup against Geelong that hasn't gone too well for them last year, especially down there. So yeah, be interesting to see
Yeah.
how they.
Well, look, if you put the lines in, if you just throw them in there,
Right, I mean,
throw them in. That's a $8.80 at your multi at 4 legs.
yeah, I like that multi. And then I mean, you could do something like a Collingwood instead of the Brisbane or something. But I'm back in Brisbane, and I reckon they're going good. I don't think Sydney are going that well. I mean, they were behind 3 quarters against the Hawks. They only just got the job done against what was it the Crows and someone else. I don't know if they're going as
Yeah,
good as maybe what.
it looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe. So yeah, I'm happy to go. That's $8.80. Chuck 50 on that. $500 off you go.
happy days. There's your nose beers and sports multi for the week.
Done.
Yeah, in saying that about Sydney, they only beat North Melbourne by 11 points.
There
So
you go. Yeah, that
there
was
you
the
go.
other one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Happy days, right? Well, if no one's got any more questions, that's probably us for today, I'd say. What do you reckon? Got any more points?
No, sounds bloody good to me. If anyone thinks of anything else, let me know. But yep, no, that suits me, mate. Good stuff.
Yep. Otherwise, yeah, we could do a little emergency on Thursday or something like that, or before the game.
And
So there we go.
if you do your trades and then you're looking like if you're not sure about like loopholes or captain's trick or anything like that, just send me a message or send a message on Discord and or throw your team in the thing and we'll try and check it a bit more regularly and show you what you can actually do to try and
Yeah.
maximize your scoring.
Don't forget you can do the substitute shuffle with your teams as well. Like there's so much you do. You think you can't like get the money for a player, but
Yeah,
you start moving players around in positions, and then all of a sudden like the spot opens up and you've got the money for it. So
100%. Yeah.
yeah, play around with that.
Yeah, and like have a look. Like I know if you don't, Supercoach Plus it can be a little bit difficult, but like there's a website called Footy Wire. If you just Google like Josh or Shelley Footy Wire, like Supercoach for example, it just will bring up the break even, what they're projected to go up and down, and all that sort of stuff. You don't actually need the Supercoach Plus. Just makes it a little bit easier to tick this little button, but you can do it another way, and it still shows you the stats and all that sort of stuff as well. So.
Yeah, cool.
Easy.
Are you around this weekend, mate? Or what are you doing? You want to do another watch along?
Yeah, well, we'll have a little bit of a look. I think we should definitely try and do one.
Yep.
Just that's the games and see what stands out. It'd be pretty cool to do the Sydney Brisbane one.
I was thinking that Sunday afternoon, Sydney Brisbane. That'd be good.
That'd be good. Couple of beers,
Oh, couple beers.
seltzer, White Claw.
Yep. Plenty of them. Hey, we're gonna back our sponsors, all right?
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, White Claw, for sponsoring the stream.
That's all I have to do. I'll have to jump on and do a little review at some point of the mix pack that I always buy. So
yeah.
all
right,
right,
we'll stop talking shit and get the fuck out of here.
Sounds good.
Might be back Thursday, might not. Might be here Sunday, might not.
Yeah.
But we'll be back next Tuesday.
If there's some more injuries, if there's a time, if the Gorn goes down as well and Jackson as well, well, there will be an emergency meeting. All right. Catches.
All right. Catches.
Yeah.